Hey folks, something a little different today. Well, I say that every time, don't I? But yeah, I just wanted to get you guys updated on what was going on with me, to be honest. It's been a while. And to do that, I need to go back to my last video. So the last video was basically me building this set, and I had a lot of fun. So much so that I went on to the Lego website and I built myself. Obviously, it's not looking like me at the moment because my hair isn't pink yet. It will be. That's coming back. But that's about as close as I could get face-wise and glasses-wise. And, you know, when I do redo my hair, that's pretty close. That then triggered something in me. And I now have a lot of Lego minifigures. Yeah, so I bought a lot of Lego. I'm not going to tell you how much I've spent, but it's quite a lot. And over the last, well, since however long that last video was, I've been inventorying it and making complete sets. And that's the handful of complete sets that I've currently got. Yeah, out of like big stacks of Lego, that's the complete sets. But, you know, I'm working on more. I'm waiting on a couple of parts for a couple of others. So I figured that rather than sit and talk to a camera, what we'd do for a change, they'd build a fire engine and talk to you. Because why not? I mean, like I say, I've spent the last couple of months just digging through all this and sorting out sets, but I haven't actually built anything. So this is literally Lego 60107. It's a fire engine. I think it's called the Fire Ladder Truck. It's one of the sets that I've purchased and I've managed to complete. So now we're going to build it, because why not? Okay. Yeah, this should work. It's a bit messy in here at the moment, but yeah, we'll figure it out as and when. Get the figures assembled. We're ready. Yeah, a couple of firefighters. I've got to give them something to drive. So I'm not going to be using the actual paper instructions because that it's going to take up all this space where I'm going to be building. So I'm on lego.com. You can basically download every single set of instructions you want. Yeah, within reason. I think they've got pretty much everything. And ironically, the first one is to put a radio in somebody's hand. I hope that my hands don't get in the way too much. Hopefully we're zoomed out enough. But yeah, now they can communicate with who they want. And she's fallen over instantly. Come on. There we go. Yeah, the paper instructions just get in the way when I'm doing something like this. We're just trying different angles and seeing what works visually, at least. This is only the second time I've ever built something on a video, so, you know, give me a fair break. But we're going to have a go and have a giggle and see what we can do while I talk about everything that has been going on with me, because I haven't done an update in a while. There may be breaks while I talk to myself, got to be honest, or at least go to do it while I'm looking at the instructions. So yeah, I have, you know, I'm going through the whole GIC, NHS, gender clinic thing, and I went for my first appointment back in January. And it was very, very weird. I wasn't quite used to how these things were done. And, you know, it was a 2-hour drive there, got a hotel. I did an entire video about it. And when you talk to other trans folk, you know, online, or however it might be, you know, the average wait, they say, between your first appointment and your second appointment is about a year. Which, you know, kind of, you know, makes a little bit of sense, shall we say. Mine was 5 months. I don't know how, but I had my first appointment in January, and then I had my second appointment in May. So, yeah, and to make it even weirder, I was expecting to have to travel back to Northampton they did it over a video call. I really wasn't expecting them to do it over a video call. I didn't think that they could do these things over a video call. But suffice to say that, you, as a trans person, where's that gone? That's the wrong shade of grey. The instructions on my monitor aren't very clear. It looked like it was a dark grey, and it's not. It's a light grey. So yeah, like I say, I wasn't expecting to hear from them quite so quickly. But then, it all went well. And again, as I was saying, as a trans person, the dysphoria and all that sort of thing, mentally is just like, no, you're not trans. You can't be trans. You have to be cis. You have to be straight. You can't be that. Well, to put it nicely, I've had 2 different doctors tell me that I now am. So I don't get to argue that point anymore and decide that I am not what I'm not. I am now trans, officially, I should say. Yeah, it's one of those weird ones where you can argue the toss forever and a day, but as soon as the doctor says, yeah, actually, then you're like, okay, I'll take you at your word, rather than trying to argue. So that was a good wake-up call. I had to go to the doctors to get more blood tests done, so I was waiting on. Part of the process is a lot of blood tests, and I was waiting on the results of one lot. The doctor wasn't happy with the timing of it in terms of when I took my medication, which I've been sourcing privately, versus when I had the blood tests. So I had to have those redone, and today I emailed him about those results. So hopefully he should get back in contact with me soonish. And then we can start down the proper NHS medical pathway, which would be nice, wouldn't it? It would be something a little different compared to what I'm used to. So yeah, that's been progressing, and I also got a referral for hair removal. That's something else that they do, which I wasn't aware of. I was dreading having to. Well, not. It was one of those things where I was just going to live with it, But the NHS do have. It's limited, but they do have a setup where you can actually get that done a little bit on the NHS. Like 4 or 5 sessions or something like that. Not huge amounts, but better than what I was going to have, which was nothing, to put it nicely. So yeah, transition stuff's going apace, which is just it's weird because the initial wait to be seen is 5 years, and to then have almost everything happen. Is this the one I put the stickers on? Yes. So I've got to find the right ones for this. So then have everything like I say happen in the space of 6 months basically. Now we're in July now, so 7 months. It's very, very strange having waited that long. Yeah, and as I keep saying, I'm trying to figure out what it is that I want to do with myself, and gravitating at the moment towards this sort of thing. I tried the whole DIY repairing stuff, and they did well, but as soon as the weather changed, is it that way up? No, it's the other way up. That way up. I see, it goes like that. Yeah, as soon as the weather changed, it just got far too hot to do any work out there, which was something that I'd thought about and was worried about, but at the same time hadn't really planned that well, obviously. So yeah. That's so yeah. The whole DIY thing at the moment is on hiatus until I decide whether I want to continue down that route. The workshop is still very much set up out there. It just depends entirely on how and when I want to use it. Now I shouldn't have any pieces left. I should have counted this out exactly. So if I get any pieces left, I'm going to be disappointed in myself. And I'm going to have to recheck all the Lego that I've checked over the last few months. So yeah, we're just carrying on, as it were. Which way around do you want to go? Yeah, that's it. Cool. Yeah, like I said, I've been really getting into just inventorying and just counting bricks. And it sounds really dull, and to a degree it can be. But at the same time, it's, you know, when you're looking forward to the actual build part, this part. Opening door and closing door. Took a bit to get that to sit. And then that goes on there. Yeah, see? Got half a fire engine. Or tender, as they call it, isn't it, in the US. So yeah, we've been slowly doing what I need to do. I have a sort of semi-plan in mind that I do kind of want to stream these a little bit, maybe. Trying to figure out what platform I want to use for that. You know, be it, you know, this one or the other one. So I'm still a little bit about that. I mean, ultimately doing this, you know, for a chill couple of hours on an afternoon or an evening. If people want to watch, then they will. But again, I'm not sure what platform I want to use on that one. But at the same time, you know, when I do figure out where I want to do that, I will let everybody know on here, because why not? It's beginning to look something like. Now I will be double checking all this footage so that I can figure out if I've got this at the right angle, or, you know, if I'm in the right spot and stuff. So this is just the early test, as it were. Oh, I haven't got a number plate on that. Oh yeah, I do. Which way have you go that way? You know, like I say, to checking whether my hand's in the way, things like that. Because I'm still learning YouTube. Oh, that was the other thing. We're closing in on 200 subs, which, you know, I thought I'd never hit. I hit 150 at the tail end of last year, and then everything just dropped off. And I was like, oh, well, that's that done then. I'm never going to see any more. But no, apparently, you know, we've got some extra people that like seeing my stuff, and this is a change of direction, I will grant you, compared to what they might be used to. But at the same time, you know, it's worth me trying. I think that's the thing, is I want to try it and see. I was umming and ahhing about trying to get YouTube done properly, as it were. This was already assembled, so I didn't bother taking it apart. You know, give YouTube a go properly, but it's one of those where the platform is very fickle. You know, and if you haven't got an audience, you never will get an audience. So I was sitting there going, well, is it worth it? Do I need to get, you know, a proper job, as it were, rather than just making it up as I go, like normal? But I think the idea that I have in terms of streaming this sort of thing, you know, hopefully it's in shot, but streaming this sort of thing, and excuse me, hopefully, you know, eventually reselling is something that I would like to do as well, but not online. Not online. I don't quite know why, but I don't want to be doing it online. So I'm thinking about finding premises and just setting up shop, as it were. But that's something that I need to look into a little bit more The general aim is that I want to at least start streaming sort of the tail end of this month into the next, because otherwise I'm never going to get to it. So that's just something that I want to do personally. I have already bought a webcam. I don't know what the quality is going to be like. I haven't really checked it yet. Oh, I see. So that goes on there. I like that they're adding that now rather than after. And that goes in there. Okay. And there's the other one of those. Got it all laid out by colour, which they say you shouldn't do, but yeah, it's what I needed to do. Okay. So yeah, I've just been really enjoying the Lego recently, and I haven't built anything in a very long time, which is very weird. You know, given that like I say, I've got all of this Lego, and it is a lot of Lego, and I haven't built anything. So we're going to take a little bit today to build this, and then hopefully, as I say, in the future, I would like to stream me building Lego, which would be hilarious fun, I think. But it would depend on if there was an audience. I mean, it's all well and good. It's one of those, I am so far away from making any money on YouTube anyway, that at this point in time it is predominantly just for giggles, really. But, you know, it's one of those, we'll see what comes of it. Like I say, I'm going to give streaming a try, definitely, because I think that would be pretty good, be good fun. Or at the very least, you know, it'd give me an opportunity to build more Lego, and I wouldn't have to. The beauty of streaming is that I wouldn't have to edit it afterwards. I really don't like editing. It's like you make an hour-long video, you have to re-watch that hour of footage. You know, so you actually, that's the bare minimum. You have to re-watch the hour plus all the changes you have to make. So I'm not the world's biggest fan of editing. Which is why I very rarely do any of it. That's why the quality is usually a bit garbage. But yeah, like I say, I want to give streaming a try. Yeah, just Lego streaming, and then if I can also find somewhere where I could sell. The general idea is you build the Lego and then you sell the Lego. So you got a double whammy of people dealing with your Lego. But that's something that I'm just thinking about down the line, because I've been out of work now voluntarily for nearly a year, and I've spent pretty much all of that time repairing the house, and now the house is basically done. The house is as good as it's going to be, on my watch at least, and there's nothing else other than outside. Other than outside, there's nothing else that needs doing to the house. You know, I had all of that mould and rot and all of that. That is now all taken care of. It is all done, dusted, fixed. So I now have nothing, well, not quite nothing to do, but pretty close to nothing to do. Oh, I see. We need that and that. And it's just a little infuriating. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, it's done. You know, I've now future-proofed my entire building so that I can happily live here comfortably, you know, in be it dry. At the very least, it's dry. But now the question becomes, what do I do? Properly. And I've been using the joke recently that if I turn up to a job interview looking like I do, then nobody's going to want to employ me. But that's just a bit of self-deprecation, isn't it? But yeah, so the question now becomes, what do I do professionally? And the ultimate thing, for a very long time, I've wanted my own sort of little shop. But I had no idea what it is that I wanted to sell. I mean, I've got a lot of Nerf stuff. And I was having an hour about that. Yeah, there's not really a market for it. Same as I was having an hour about micro machines and stuff like that, all old vintage toys. But there are a couple of places locally that already do that. And I don't really want to step on their toes, so I'm thinking of other avenues. And as I say, Lego seems to have been a prominent part recently, at the very least. So, see what I can do with that. But we've got a fair old way to go first. And the other thing about the Lego as well is it's very time consuming, which is good because, I got a lot of time. I got a lot of time on my hands recently. Especially, the way the weather's changed and it gets crazy warm now. But yeah, so I've got a couple of ideas for what I want to do that are currently revolving around Lego, and given how much I've spent on Lego, I kind of need to recoup some of that to a degree. But that's just something that's maybe on the horizon. We'll have to see. And also, I have other things that I might do. But, I'm thinking shop of some description at the moment. That's the way that I want to go. But that'll be a while away yet. Let's see. What else we got? That was just general non-sensory. But the motorbike is finally running, so that's good. Took it out. The reason I gave up motorbikes was because my shoulder was buggered. I tore my rotator cuff by crashing, unfortunately. But I've fixed that recently. Yeah, it's not fixed, but it's close enough. So yeah, that's a whole other experience as well, as relearning how to ride a motorbike. The general plan was because I was informed, loosely, that it's about a year between first appointment, second appointment, gender clinic stuff. I promised myself that I would take the motorbike to the second appointment, and then they went and did the second appointment on video call anyway. So, but the idea was I was going to do it on that, but didn't have to in the end. But I still learning how to re-ride. It's very weird learning to re-ride. Does that just sit or does it click? No, it's got a little thing on the bottom, so it must lock in. Oh wow, okay. You remember what I said about extra pieces? Where are you from? Unless I just counted it right. No, I didn't count it wrong. There's got to be something I've not put in. You know, it's certainly not under there. I can't count it right. This is what Lego use for water. And they store it in a cupboard. That I think has just been floating around the counter for a while. Oh yeah, it didn't tell me to build that, but alright, so we got the oil barrel on fire. He's coming along with his fire extinguisher. Well, she's radioing for backup or telling him it's all good. I don't know why a small fire like this, I don't even know if that's in shot. Yeah, don't know why a small fire like this would need a big engine like this. You know, I mean, you'd think, yeah, literally somebody with a fire extinguisher. Certainly doesn't need the ladder. You know, you can get other fire engines without ladders. You know, just especially with a hydraulic ladder like this. You know, some of the smaller fire engines have ladders stored on them that they can use, but it's mostly just for, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I'm just arguing there. 3 of those. There were 3. 1, 2. Take this off again. 1, 2. Where's the third one go? It's asked for 3. It's only asked me to put 2 on. Oh, under there. There we go. I missed that step. I was scrolling and it skipped. That makes sense. So yeah, no extra parts. There we go. Yeah, I'm going to have to get used to waffling again. But we're coming up on the anniversary of my mum dying, which is just weird. The fact that that's been a year already. Which means that this September will be 2 years since my dad died. So that's just strange. And it's weird seeing how much this building has changed since then. Especially with the ability to, you know, literally repair everything. So yeah, there we go. Lego set 60107. She's fallen over. Obviously been drinking on the job again. I'm not generalising. I'm just, you know, maybe she is a lush. I couldn't tell you. I'm not saying firemen drink a lot. I'm actually not saying firemen drink a lot. I don't know what their average alcohol consumption is, so I can't judge. But yeah, hopefully this little video, it's kind of a vlog, but I'm less on camera and more actually doing something with my hands rather than going, and look at this, and look at that. So yeah, going to be trying something a little different, especially when it comes to me talking to camera, as it were. It saves me. It's something more interesting to look at, hopefully. And it also gives me the opportunity to actually play with some of the Lego that I bought. Yeah, you know, Lego is a very, very strange thing. The initial plan after I built the last one, the Everyone is Awesome set, fire engine. The initial plan was to dig out my old Lego from when I was a child, because I still have it. And it's in the room that I've been putting everything in to move it out of the way. And it's right at the bottom at the back. So I ended up buying some Lego. And then I ended up buying more Lego. And then more Lego. Like I say, I'm not going to give an exact number. And now we're in a situation where I need to do something with it all. So if I can use it to do this sort of thing. I'm not going to be a Lego YouTuber that does a lot of mocks or my own creations. I'm not going to be doing that. I will be following the instructions simply because it's the sort of person that I am. I mean, the whole point of Lego, I've really, really been enjoying sorting it all and getting it into sets. And now I get to enjoy the building process. So, you know, when I come to do videos like this, whether it's just talking about what's going on, or what's up with me, stuff like that, or even if it's just me building something. I think that's where I'm going for a while at least, and we'll see if that does any good. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. I think I've left enough for another video at some point. I just caught up with a little bit of stuff and then rambled for 20 minutes, but yeah, like I say, I get a little fire engine out of it. I have got some sets that are a lot bigger than this. I've got to be honest, I think this is 200 and some odd pieces. 600. Oh, I missed. 202. But sometimes that includes extra parts and brick separators and stuff like that. So I'd have to do, I don't know. Bricklink are pretty good. I've been using two websites mostly. I've been using lego.com and bricklink.com because Bricklink, when you find the set that you are, in this case 60107, it literally will give you a parts list, which is how I've been checking whether the sets are right or not. But I'll probably go into that more in another video. This thing's probably already half an hour long. Yeah, fire engine. Right, see you next time.